Hello to those listening. This is the Freeze of Speech. And this time I want to talk about how Democrats actually don't care about Muslim people. Now, everybody knows the controversy that shouldn't have been a controversy of the air quote Muslim ban, which seems the fact that it affects less than 50% of the world's Muslims and only hits 7 nations out of the 100. That kind of means it's not a Muslim ban. But the other side's doing it, therefore it has to be a Muslim ban. Now, to me, this is a grand demonstration of how little Democrats actually do care about these people. Now, in this U.S. relations with Afghanistan forum, I'm really going to go down to the one section here where it says the U.S. security support for Afghanistan. And it reads, the United States military has been engaged in Afghanistan since 2001. There have been 2,246 U.S. military deaths in Afghanistan between 2001 and 2016. Over 20,000 U.S. service members have been wounded in action. Now I'm stopping right there because this is pretty much all I need to finish making my point. There'll be a link below where you can find the entire article. Well, I guess submitted form if you really want to continue reading it. Now, the thing is, I actually did try to get a estimate of how many Muslims died during our long war campaign, and it's really difficult to do because we kind of just drop bombs on people and well fly off. I mean, there's not like you blow shit up, then you send about 30 people in there to just make sure everything's cool, then you count up the people. No, nobody kind of really does that. So I can't really find a good a good round number to put my hat on. But the 2,000 dead soldiers will be good enough for what point I'm about to make here. It's if at the very least 2,000 soldiers died, you have to assume that more more Afghanis died because those are soldiers who are in the combat zone, but most of the combat is still drone strikes. Who thousands of drone strikes that's probably done went through since because well it's been 15 years. I mean, every one of those bombs that was dropped, every Hellfire missile that was launched did not take out enemies. They did get a few innocent people. But I'm guessing for the Democrats, those Muslims wasn't Muslim enough to be Muslim to make them want to defend. But Trump bans a few people from coming to the country, something that really shouldn't be that big of a deal. But because Donald Trump thinks like a CEO and not a politician, he was expecting everything to run smoothly with the orders coming out. But anybody who's hell spent any time dealing with the political system and the way they do things, quick and easy is not it's not their forte. But he'll learn, he'll adapt, he'll get better. He doesn't really have a choice. But for the Democrats, this is a great example of how little they actually do care about Muslims. You see, you guys have the news. They have no problem shooting Hellfire missiles at them. They have no fire dropping bombs on them. They have no problem with having military personnel shoot them in the face. They have no problem with military personnel throwing grenades at them. Now, this is not a critique for the military. These men and women are doing their jobs. Their job is to defend. They're, they go to where they're supposed to be defending. The politicians behind them are the ones who tell them where to go and tell them who the enemy's supposed to be for them, who they're supposed to fight against. The Democrats never stepped up and said we need to stop this war. Even with the Democratic president there, they never stopped this war. Now I know you may be saying, could Congress really do it? Well, yeah, Congress doesn't need a president to stop the war because Congress has the power to purse strings. And if anybody's known how relationships function, whether you've been in them or looked at them, whoever controls the finances pretty much controls the relationship. But they didn't do it. They had no intention on doing it. But yet they want to throw all this shade at Donald Trump for banning people from coming into the country. Well, here's the thing: a visa, green card, or whatever. These are not rights that these people from other countries have. These are privileges that are extended by the country to those individuals, not just in the United States, but everywhere else in the world. But the Democrats don't care about that. Even though I know the people in the upper echelons, the people who, in a sense, do things like that when I'm like researching stuff for a living, they know this, but they don't care. They saw something that they can throw at Trump, and that's what they went with. They already know that your basic Democrat doesn't know these things. They're not going to take the time to learn these things. I once said that we live in an age of information, but people are more ignorant now than they were when they lacked the ability to read. And it seems to be holding true because it will take minutes for any person that's a Democrat. I mean, hell, at anywhere. You can pick up a phone, do a basic Google search, and see how many countries there are that are pretty much run by considered to be Muslim nations. You can see how many Muslims there are in a freaking world. Again, may not be the exact number, but it's a close enough estimate to see that this is garbage. But but again, it's about not caring. These people haven't cared about all the Muslims that died during the war. I'm not talking about the enemies. I'm talking about the innocent because collateral damage always exists in warfare. They didn't, but again, maybe they weren't Muslim enough for them. But I digress. When people say they care about something, you see it in their actions. When a parent says they care about their child, you see them sacrifice for that child. When a person say they care about their home, you see them sacrificing their time to build their home. Democrats say they care about Muslims, but they sat back and let how no many no it don't even have a good number to say whether it's hundreds or thousands of Muslims to die for the last 15 years. But yet, we're not going to let a few people from these specific countries come. Now everybody got something to say, but blowing them up is okay. You know, maybe those Muslims that got blown up should have Muslim a little bit harder. This was the freest of speech. Thanks for listening.